Hey everyone, ever thought about starting a podcast? But then, like, all that tech stuff and recording and editing, ugh, it's a lot, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It can be a lot to handle, especially when you're first starting out.
So get this, I found this product. It's called AI Podcast Empire. And, like, their claims are insane. They're saying you can make, like, a whole podcast empire without ever even recording.
Really?
All AI, no recording, no editing. They even say it can turn, get this, any website into a podcast. Sounds too good to be true.
It does kind of sound like one of those things that's, too good to be true, but let's take a look and see what it's all about.
Okay, so first, the big thing that they say it's all automated. Their AI writes the scripts, does the voiceovers, even finds the music. It's like a whole production team, but it's, just algorithms. I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling kind of mixed about this whole thing.
Yeah, I get it. On the one hand, automating all that stuff would be amazing. I mean, you could spend way more time on like connecting with your audience or brainstorming awesome content.
True, but then it also feels kind of, I don't know, impersonal. Isn't part of what makes podcasts so cool? Like the human connection, the personality you hear in the host's voice. Can an algorithm actually do that?
That's a really good point. And it brings up some, ethical questions too. Like, what does it mean for podcasting, for the art of it, if everyone's just using AI? Does it get less authentic, less, I don't know, valuable?
Exactly. It's like if a robot wrote a best-selling book, would it feel as impactful? Would we connect to it the same way? Okay, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's get back to what this AI podcast empire actually offers.
Right. So besides, automating everything, they also make a big deal about making money. They say this system can help you get tons of cash with like affiliate marketing on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, the whole nine yards. They even give you a quote unquote free commercial license.
Which, let's be real, is a pretty smart marketing tactic. I mean, who doesn't love free stuff? But it also makes me wonder, is it really that easy to make money off a podcast? I've heard from a lot of podcasters that it takes, serious time and effort to actually build an audience and like generate any revenue.
Absolutely. Building a successful podcast is like any other business. You need a plan, consistent effort, and you have to really know who you're talking to. And even then, there's no guarantee you'll like strike gold.
Okay, so we've got automation, easy money. They even say they'll share secret free AI tools and templates. They're really laying it on thick to make this sound like, irresistible. But here's what's setting off my alarm bells.
Uh-oh, what is it?
The proof. Their whole sales page is full of screenshots of, like, podcast engagement and affiliate earnings. They even show a couple of big names in podcasting, like hinting that these people are using this system.
Ah, the old social proof trick. It's a classic way to try and make things seem legit and build trust. But like with any marketing claim, you gotta be skeptical and, ask some questions.
Exactly. Like, how do we know those screenshots are real? Are they the typical results or just, cherry-picked examples to impress us? And if these big-time podcasters are really using this thing, why aren't they openly endorsing it?
Those are all excellent questions. And you gotta remember, even if the screenshots are real, they don't tell the whole story. There are so many things that go into making a podcast successful, and just using some software, it doesn't guarantee anything.
Right? It's like saying, I bought these running shoes, so I'm totally going to win a marathon now. It just doesn't work like that.
Exactly. Succeeding in podcasting, like anything else, takes dedication, hard work, and, genuine passion for what you're doing. Software can't replace that.
Okay, so we've covered the whole automation promise, the claims about making money easily, and the, let's say, questionable proof they're showing. But there's one more thing we got to look at before we can really judge this AI podcast empire system.
And that is the price. The whole thing. One-time fee, $14.
$14? Seriously, that's like less than my weekly coffee budget. It's crazy cheap, especially when they say it's usually $99 a month. Honestly, that price is tempting, but it also kind of feels like a red flag.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That kind of pricing, it can sometimes mean the product isn't, what they're making it out to be.
Right, like are they just trying to, get you hooked with the low price and then bam, hidden fees or upsells? Or maybe the product is just like so basic they can afford to practically give it away.
Those are good questions to think about before, jumping in. Just remember, cheapest isn't always best, especially when it comes to something important like building your podcast.
Okay, so we've really dug into this AI podcast empire thing. The promises, the claims, the proof, the pricing. And To be honest, I'm feeling kind of torn.
I get it. There are parts that sound interesting, like maybe AI could really help streamline stuff and make podcasting easier to get into. But then there's all the hype, the iffy proof, the super low price.
Exactly. It's like a roller coaster. One minute, I'm all excited about the possibilities. Next minute, I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, I think that's a good thing. Being skeptical is good, especially with anything that claims to be a game changer. But it's also good to be open to new technology and what it could do.
So how do we balance those two things, the skepticism and the being open-minded?
By focusing on what matters most, making great podcast content that people actually enjoy, that connects with them and helps you reach your goals. AI can be a tool, but it's just that, a tool. It's not magic.
Okay, starting to see the bigger picture now. This isn't just about one product. It's about AI and podcasting in general.
Exactly. And that's a conversation we should be having. AI have the potential to really change how we make and listen to audio. And it's good to be aware of both the good and the bad that come with that.
So let's step back from this specific product for a bit. Let's talk about how AI is being used in podcasting right now, like the real stuff, not just the hype.
Good idea. There's some pretty cool stuff happening, things that can help both the people making podcasts and the people listening.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me about it.
Well, first off, AI is totally changing transcription. The AI tools are getting super accurate and way cheaper, which is huge for accessibility.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. I know so many people who are deaf or hard of hearing who have a hard time listening to podcasts because there are no transcripts.
Exactly. And it's not just that. Transcripts make your content searchable online so more people can find you.
That's awesome. What else?
Noise reduction is another area where AI is really helpful. Imagine you're recording and it's not a perfect space, maybe your home office or a busy cafe.
Oh, tell me about it. I've been there.
With AI noise reduction, you can get rid of all that background noise and make your podcast sound super professional, even if you're not in a fancy studio.
That's incredible. It's like having, your own personal sound engineer.
Exactly. And then you've got AI tools for editing, and they can find and get rid of all those like ums and ahs and long pauses that can make your podcast sound less polished.
Okay, now that's something I need. I'm always re-recording to try and cut those filler words. It takes forever.
I hear you. AI can save so much time. These tools can analyze your audio and edit it automatically so you can focus on other things.
So it's not about replacing us, the humans, but using AI to make the whole process smoother and better.
Exactly. AI can be a huge help, helping you get over those technical hurdles and making your podcast sound even more amazing.
Okay, I'm definitely seeing the appeal of AI in podcasting now. But what about the creative side of things? Can AI actually help us come up with new ideas or make our content better?
That's a great question, and people are still figuring it out, but there are some cool things happening there too.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, imagine you're stuck trying to come up with a fresh idea for your next episode. There are AI tools that can look at what's trending and find potential podcast topics that haven't been done much or have a lot of potential.
Whoa, that's really cool. So instead of just following the latest trends, AI could help you find, like, hidden gems.
Exactly. AI can also look at your past content and see what your listeners liked best. This data can help you figure out what really resonates with your audience and make your content even better. For example, you might find out that your listeners love interviews or personal stories.
That's super helpful. I'm always looking for ways to make my content more engaging and connect with my audience. But can AI actually help us become better storytellers?
That's something people are really looking into. There are already AI tools that can analyze text and find the elements of a good story, like the plot, characters, and emotional stuff.
Seriously, so we can use AI to get feedback on our scripts or even help us write better dialogue.
It's possible, and as AI gets better, I think we'll see more tools that can give podcasters creative feedback and help. But even with all that, it's important to remember that AI should help our creativity, not replace it.
Right, the stories we tell and the voices we share, those should always be ours.
Exactly. The human element is what makes podcasting so special. It's that connection between the host and the listener, sharing experiences, real emotions. That's something a machine can't copy.
So to wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a question to think about.
If AI could do all the technical parts of podcasting, from recording and editing to even coming up with ideas and scripts, what stories would you be most passionate about sharing with the world?
What unique perspective, experience, or knowledge do you have that could really connect with people and make a difference?
Think about it. We'll be back in the final part of this episode to explore how to use the power of AI responsibly and ethically to make your voice heard and share your stories with everyone.
Welcome back, everyone. So we've spent the last two parts digging into this AI podcast empire thing and looking at the real impact AI is having on, the whole podcasting world.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey. I mean, we went from being skeptical to, I don't know, cautiously optimistic, and I think that's a good place to be as we figure out this whole AI thing.
Definitely. So let's talk future. What's next for podcasters in this like AI-driven world?
Well, one thing's for sure. AI is here to stay. I think its role in podcasting is just going to keep growing.
Okay, that's a little scary, but also exciting. So how do we, the podcasters, adapt and, thrive in this new world?
I think the key is to use AI to our advantage, but without losing what makes podcasting special. Being real, connecting with people, and telling good stories.
I like that. Embrace the power, but keep the heart. But how do we actually do that? What are some things podcasters can do to use AI without, losing their own voice and vision?
First things first, don't be afraid to try things out. There are so many cool AI tools out there, and a lot of them are free or pretty cheap. Start by playing around with tools for things like transcription, getting rid of noise, or even brainstorming episode ideas.
Like dip your toes in the AI pool before you jump in, right?
Exactly. And as you get more comfortable with AI, you can start using more advanced tools for editing, sound design, even writing show notes and social media posts.
Okay, so we're using AI, but how do we make sure we're still being genuine? How do we stay authentic when everything's getting more automated?
Honesty is key. If you're using AI for any part of your podcast, tell your listeners. Let them know how you're using it and why.
All about trust, right? Letting your audience know you're still the one in charge, even if you have like an AI assistant helping out.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to be yourself. Your voice, your perspective, your experiences, that's what makes your podcast unique. AI can make things better, but it can't replace you.
Right. It's like using a filter to make a photo look better versus using Photoshop to make a whole new fake image.
Perfect analogy. Now, let's talk about connection. Building a community, having people who love your podcast, that's super important. How can AI help us do that?
Well, I've heard AI can be really good at analyzing listener data.
Absolutely. You can use AI to see what your listeners are responding to, what topics they like, and even tailor your content to their specific interests.
So it's like using AI to make the listening experience more personal and build stronger connections.
Exactly. You can even use AI to automate some of the community management stuff, like replying to comments. That gives you more time to build real relationships with your most engaged listeners.
Okay, last but not least, storytelling. Can AI actually help us tell better stories?
It can definitely help. AI can be a great brainstorming buddy. It can help you come up with fresh ideas, try different ways to tell your story, and even figure out what kind of emotional impact will resonate with your listeners.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. But at the end of the day, we're still the ones telling the stories, right?
Absolutely. AI can give us tools and insights, but it's up to us to turn those into captivating stories that our listeners will love.
I love that. It's like having, a super smart editor who can give you suggestions, but you're still the author of your own book.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners feeling positive and excited about the future of podcasting.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless, and AI is going to play a big part in that.
But the most important thing, we, the creators, are still in control. We get to decide how to use AI responsibly to share our voices, our stories, and connect with the world in a meaningful way.
So go out there, make incredible content, and don't be afraid to try new things with AI.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI and podcasting. And as always, check out our other videos for more explorations into the amazing world of audio storytelling. 1788.